Alors, au chapitre 3, à la page 94, nous allons discuter les possessive adjectives. We're going to talk about those. So, as you might guess, it's a lot more complicated in French than it is in English. In English, the possessive adjectives are simply my, your, his, her, its, our, your, and their. And it really doesn't change. No matter what object I'm talking about that is mine, it's not going to change. In French, it's a lot harder simply because we need to agree with the object that is being possessed, okay? So we have to agree not only with the object, but also with the possessor, the person who owns it, okay? So if you look at this chart, notice for my, they all start with M. The M is going to tell you whose it is. The second part of it, the rest of it, is going to tell you what it is. So if we're talking about a masculine object, it's going to be mon. If we're talking about a feminine object, it's going to be ma. And if we're talking about a plural object, it's going to be me. So just to go over the pronunciation on all these, it's mon, ma, me. Ton, ta, te. Son, sa, c'est. Notre, nos. Votre, vos, leur, leur. So, mon mame is my, ton tate is your, son sa se is his, hers, or its, notre, no is our, votre, vos is their, your, and leur is their. So if I'm going to say it's my book, c'est mon livre. If I say it's your book, c'est ton livre. If it's his book, c'est son livre. But even if I'm talking about her book, it's still son livre, because the on agrees with the book, not with her. The s agrees with her, okay? If it's our book, c'est notre livre. And the nice thing, at least for the plural, notre, votre, and leur don't actually change. So that's kind of nice, at least for the singular. But then if we're talking about something feminine like the table, c'est ma table, c'est ta table. It's his table, c'est sa table. And again, even if I'm talking about it's a boy's table, we're still going to use sa table, because the table is feminine, okay? C'est notre table, c'est votre table, c'est leur table. And then if it's plural, we would say, ce sont mes livres. These are my books. Ce sont tes livres. These are your books. Ce sont ses livres. These are his books or her books. Ce sont nos livres. These are our books. Ce sont vos livres. These are your books. Et ce sont leurs livres. These are their books. So I like to see it. I think this helps if you kind of look at it this way. Just to kind of put it, we do a lot of conjugations on charts. So this is the first person, singular, masculine, feminine, plural. This is the second person singular for a singular object, a masculine object, a feminine object, and a plural object. This is the third person for a singular owner, a masculine object, a feminine object, and a plural object. These are the first person plural for the person for a singular object or a plural object. Second person plural for a singular object or a plural object. And third person plural for a singular object or a plural object. So I hope that helps. I know it's a little confusing. It takes a lot of practice, but it comes pretty easily once you start getting it. But just remember, in English, we only agree with the person who's doing the possessing. In French, you have to agree not only with the person, and that's where generally the first letter is going to come in, M, T, S, notre, and votre, leur, right? The first letter indicates whose, and the rest of it is going to indicate what the object is, masculine, feminine, or plural, okay? And we already talked about this a little bit, but j'aime bien le frère d'André. Normally in English, I would say, I really like Andre's brother. And we put this nice little apostrophe S, and it shows ownership or possession, right? They don't have any apostrophe S in French. You can't do that. So instead, they say the brother of André. So we use the preposition de, but as we've seen a lot of other times, if de is in front of a vowel, we drop the E and put an apostrophe, and it becomes le frère d'André. Okay? This is another really important, sorry about that. This is another really important exception. Ça c'est mon amie Claudine. Well, hold on a second. I just told you that mon is for masculine singular, but Claudine is clearly a girl because there's an E on the end. Why are we using mon? Well, as it often does with French, it's coming back to the sound. We want it to flow nicely. And if we say ça c'est ma amie, it's a guttural stop and it just doesn't sound nice and it breaks up the flow. So instead of putting an M apostrophe, which would totally change the meaning of it, they're just going to make it masculine. C'est mon ami, and we do a little liaison with the N, c'est mon amie Claudine. So even though Claudine is a girl, because ami starts with a vowel, we're going to use the masculine form. Okay? All right, I hope that makes sense. Please let me know if it doesn't, and I'd be happy to talk it through with you more on the phone.